Israel's historic Knesset vote to annex Judea and Samaria, a new chapter in the Middle East. Welcome back to our channel, PNG Stands with Israel, where we dive deep into the stories shaping our world. Today we're talking about a seismic moment in Middle Eastern geopolitics, the Israeli Knesset's recent vote to annex Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank. This non-binding resolution, passed on July 23, 2025, with a landslide 71-13 vote, has sent shockwaves across the globe. Is this a bold step toward Israel's biblical destiny, a strategic power play, or a move that risks escalating tensions in an already volatile region? Let's unpack this historic decision, its roots in the Old Testament, and what it means for Israel's future as a rising superpower in the Middle East. Stick with us. This is a big one. On July 23, 2025, Israel's parliament, the Knesset, passed a non-binding resolution calling for the annexation of Judea and Samaria, the biblical names for the West Bank, a territory Israel has occupied since the 1967 Six-Day War. The vote, which passed 71-13, was spearheaded by Religious Zionism, MK Simcha Rothman, Likud MK Donna Luz, and Yisrael Beitenu MK Oded For. It declares Judea and Samaria as an inseparable part of the land of Israel, the historical, cultural, and spiritual homeland of the Jewish people, and calls for applying Israeli sovereignty to all Jewish settlements in the region. Now let's be clear, this resolution is symbolic. It doesn't immediately change the legal status of the West Bank, but it's a powerful statement of intent from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition, signaling a potential shift toward formal annexation. Knesset Speaker Amir Ohana summed it up, saying, "In 1967, the occupation did not begin. It ended, and our homeland was returned to its rightful owners. Jews cannot be the occupier of a land that for 3,000 years has been called Judea." This move has been a long-standing goal of Israel's right wing, with figures like Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich and National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir pushing for sovereignty over the West Bank for years. Just weeks before the vote, 15 Likud ministers, along with Ohana, sent a letter to Netanyahu urging immediate annexation before the Knesset's summer recess on July 27th, citing a strategic partnership with U.S. President Donald Trump as a window of opportunity. To understand why this move resonates so deeply for many Israelis and those who support them, we need to go back thousands of years to the Old Testament. According to Jewish tradition, the Israelites' God, referred to as Yahweh, promised the land of Canaan to the Israelites, a territory that stretches far beyond modern Israel's borders, encompassing parts of what is now Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq. This divine promise, found in texts like Genesis 15:18-21, describes a vast land from the river of Egypt to the Euphrates. Judea and Samaria, at the heart of this biblical homeland, are seen by many as the cradle of Jewish history, home to ancient cities like Hebron and Jericho. For religious Zionists, annexing Judea and Samaria isn't just a political move, it's a fulfillment of a divine mandate. They argue that these lands, captured from Jordan in 1967, were never occupied but reclaimed. The resolution's language reflects this, emphasizing Israel's natural, historical, and legal right to these territories. Over 500,000 Israeli settlers now live in the West Bank, alongside millions of Palestinians, making this a deeply contested region. But here's where it gets complex. Critics, including Palestinian leaders and international observers, argue that annexation undermines the prospect of a Palestinian state and violates international law, which considers the West Bank occupied territory. The Palestinian Authority called the vote a dangerous escalation, while opposition MK Gilad Karib warned it's a clear danger to the future of the Zionist enterprise. This vote doesn't happen in a vacuum. Israel is navigating a turbulent geopolitical landscape. Since the Hamas-led attack on October 7, 2023, which killed over 1,200 Israelis and sparked the ongoing Gaza war, Israel has been fighting on multiple fronts. From Hezbollah in Lebanon to Iran's regional influence, the stakes are high. In June 2025, Israel launched a major military operation against Iran's nuclear program, killing key scientists in escalating tensions. Iran retaliated with missile strikes on Haifa, raising fears of a broader regional war. Amid these conflicts, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has framed Israel's actions as a path to a new Middle East. In a 2023 UN speech, he presented a map showing Israel stretching from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean, with no Palestinian territories. A vision critics called a blueprint for a greater Israel. This annexation vote aligns with that vision, signaling to adversaries that Israel is asserting dominance and securing its borders. Netanyahu's coalition argues that annexation strengthens Israel's security, especially after October 7th. The Likud minister's letter claimed that a Palestinian state in the West Bank poses an existential threat to Israel, citing the Gaza attack as proof. They see sovereignty over Judea and Samaria as a way to prevent another October 7th and to solidify Israel's position as a regional superpower. But this move also risks alienating allies. The U.S., under President Trump, has been a key supporter, with Trump praising Israel's strikes on Iran and pushing for expanded Abraham Accords. However, even Trump faces domestic pressure to avoid new Middle East wars, and annexation could complicate negotiations with Arab states like Saudi Arabia, which has tied normalization to progress on Palestinian statehood. Israel's bold moves, militarily, politically, and diplomatically, are reshaping its role in the Middle East. With a high-tech economy, a formidable military, and strategic alliances, Israel is positioning itself as a regional superpower. The defeat of Hezbollah, strikes on Iran, and the push for annexation signal to adversaries that Israel is untouchable. Netanyahu's vision of a new Middle East, a region where Israel leads with Arab allies like the UAE and Bahrain, relies on projecting strength. But strength comes at a cost. The Gaza war, now in its second year, has killed tens of thousands of Palestinians and drawn international condemnation. Annexation could further isolate Israel diplomatically, with countries like France threatening to recognize a Palestinian state in response. Plus, the West Bank's Palestinian population faces an uncertain future, with fears of displacement or heightened conflict. The Knesset's vote has sparked global debate. Posts on X reflect polarized views. Some hail it as Israel reclaiming its biblical heritage, while others call it a violation of Palestinian rights. The U.S. State Department dodged a direct response, saying it supports Israel's internal security decisions, but the White House may face pressure to clarify its stance. What's next? While the resolution isn't legally binding, it sets the stage for future legislation. Netanyahu's coalition, though fractured over issues like ultra-Orthodox draft exemptions, is united on annexation. But with ceasefire talks in Gaza faltering and tensions with Iran simmering, Israel's path forward is fraught with risk. Will this move cement Israel's dominance, or will it ignite new conflicts? Only time will tell. That's the story of Israel's historic push to annex Judea and Samaria, a move rooted in biblical promises, driven by security concerns, and poised to reshape the Middle East. What do you think? Is this a step toward peace and strength, or a recipe for more conflict? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that matter. Until next time, this is Israel Isaac with PNG Stands with Israel. Stay curious, and we'll see you soon.